If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/VillageXchange. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and a child shall lead them to buy our merch.
Bad Omens is the name of the band.
Yeah.
Artificial Suicide is the name of the song. Let's do it.
True. Thanks, Hell.
For the broken youth, can you hear me through the white noise, friend? A cheers to the life you don't get to choose. Another Antichrist on the evening news. Can you hear me through the white noise? Can you hear me through the white noise?
Oh,
You're not gonna be a commodity, not another maggot in the fate that you're gonna eat, motherfucker. You can try, but official suicide. You're not gonna be a commodity, not another maggot in the fate that you're gonna eat, motherfucker. You can try, but official suicide.
oh my God. I feel like I'm being tricked. Is that actually the end? What type of music is this?
That's new metal, man. This sounds.
Oh my word! Really?
This was pretty new metal-y. Yeah, I was like.
Oh my god, I loved this one.
Low E stuff, very
loved this one.
chuggy, a lot of open riffs.
But they also had like that, like what was the?
Yeah, they had.
It
was like new metal with some electronica in the back.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Carrie says, Korn and Motionless in White are my two favorite bands. I love Bad Omens, Ice Nine Kills, and many more. Metalhead for life.
Really, really good.
Gang shit.
This is what I'm talking about. If you put some Christian stuff to this.
Vocally, this was early Slipknot, like first record Corey Taylor.
Okay.
Like this could have been like song 14 on the, he even uses the term maggot, like. And when Slipknot first came out, this was kind of the attitude too. It was like, we're not going to be a commodity, not another maggot in the feed that you're going to eat. Mm-hmm. Motherfucker, you can try. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this was very, very, very new metal. Very, like, Slipknot lost this edge and attitude and, obviously it can never come back. Like, once you become a multimillionaire, it's very, very difficult. And here's the thing. I'm glad that they can't go back there. They were miserable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Although, I will say that Corey and them, the money stuff is kind of
a little bit messy
getting
right
out
now.
of hand. But that's a different topic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, Slipknot, obviously they can't make those songs about being against the system because... they're enjoying the benefits of the system, so that
reaping the benefits.
It's impossible for them. Like if I was in that band, I would handle the nettle.
Yeah, it was too much.
Type 22 when you can see this. This never would have happened under my presidency. The delusional fascist tech freaks would be too cowardly to shut down these semi-decent live streams.
Well,
semi-decent.
Thank you. I feel like that's a big compliment then.
Yeah, we got 6 total viewers and 32 likes. Good job, everybody. All right, so we did get to hear the whole song. This was a new metal song.
Oh my gosh, I loved it.
All right, so
loved it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I liked that right off the bat. It just went right into it. Like we're not fucking around. We're not wasting time. We're like going right in, and it was immediately a sound that like I wanted to hear. The only like was that pause in the middle.
Revo.
What's up, Revo? That pause in the middle. I felt like it was a bit extended. And I think it, to be honest with you, I was okay with it for like a little bit, but it took too long to like get back to it, and it made me annoyed because I really wanted the music.
That's the most ridiculous take I've ever heard from you on this show. Because you're out here tolerating Opeth, and they're literal 35-second interludes of nothingness.
Heartbeat.
This one was literally like 4 or 5 seconds, literally.
Yeah, but I loved the music so much, it felt like an eternity. Time doesn't really exist, in the long run. I had to wait a very long time. It required a lot of patience to wait for it to start back up. And then what happened is when the end of the song hit, I thought it was another one of those, and I was angry to find out that the song was actually done. So that's how I felt. But I loved the friggin' song. I loved the energy that they put out with it. It was great. I was wondering what it was. You said it was the new metal mixed with that
electronic
sort of
stuff in the background.
Yeah,
it was essentially a new metal song.
So does all of their, please somebody let me know, does all of their music sound like this? Bad Omen?
Bad Omens?
Yeah, if it does, let's just put it out there. Season 3's coming.
Again, like if you would have come up doing a new metal era, this song would have been par for the course,
so
man.
So exciting, yeah.
They're all like that, But that's what kind of like screwed up the genre because everybody could do it. Like you could be a 3-day guitar student and learn this song.
Oh, right.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's good for so many reasons. Good because you can just vibe with it right off.
It gave birth to 6,904,028 other bands that sounded exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah?
like I know.
Nick, I'm going to check out that one again. Can you send me an email, Nick?
I know personally for a fact that Brian could do a regular, guitar mastery solo, blah, 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 album for himself and like destroy people's minds and blow everybody away. Mm-hmm. he just genuinely likes that kind of style of. I mean, he invented it, so but he could do sometimes I'm like, who just do one album and show these fucking people, bro. But he doesn't, he doesn't care. But I'm like, man, that's an example of a dude that had it and didn't do it on purpose because of the art form. But a lot of these dudes in these bands, man,
they don't have
they're like me.
Yep.
And that was the long and the short of it.
I wonder if I'm ever gonna see your stuff.
That's why a lot of those new metal guys, like, they could only do 2 albums. Because, like, how long can you play the exact same riff progression all the time? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, yeah. But, yeah, this was like, if you were a Slipknot fan, this has got to make you a little bit sad. Because, like, this is what Slipknot used to be about, man. You know, he used to be like, we're not, fuck everything. Yeah. We're not going to let you influence us. It looks like they're talking about what the media does, soaked in the neon glows. So neon is very eye-catching, but at the same time, it's artificial. And the name of the song is Artificial Suicide, right? Something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Synthetic Suicide, something like that. Artificial Suicide. So I'm assuming they're talking about everything you see on TV, right? Because everything is artificial. And I think what he's saying is, if we really truly listen to these people, then it's a form of suicide.
Okay, yeah.
Soaked in the neon glows, silver forked tongue. So that's a rich person who lies and probably got their riches by lying. Silver forked tongues talking to you in the digital snow. A glitch in the chain, a loop in the brain.
Is
you
the
wanted to
forked
break,
tongue
but
thing,
you still want to play the game. Go ahead.
Is that like telling lies? Are we like looking at like a serpent?
Yeah, that's an indigenous. I thought you had some indigenous in your bloodstream. Like,
no, it's just in my cheekbones. Apparently,
it's the white man speaks with forked tongue.
Right, forked tongue.
Because he says one thing one time and says another thing another time. So a silver forked tongue would be a rich person who lies. A glitch in the chain, a loop in the brain. You wanted to break, but you still want to play the game. I think that's probably a Matrix reference. Because Deja Vu was a glitch in the Matrix. And if you look, a glitch in the chain, a loop in the brain. You wanted to break. I'm assuming it means break free, but you still want to play the game. So you know there's a life outside of the Matrix. But
you still want to stay part of it.
You know, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
You still want that steak. What? Why is it funny?
MLK Day was
like last week or something?
Like last week or Monday or something like that. This guy's timing is just fucking incredible. I'm so...
I don't get why it's so funny.
Because it's like...
You care so little.
No, it's really something that I could conceive of happening. Like, I could conceive of...
100%.
Unfortunately,
100%.
Mr. Biden. But the timing that... Because it's so random. It's hard to explain. Shout out to Joe Biden.
Right.
That guy, whoever he is one of my favorite people. I don't know who he is.
Hey, it could be a girl.
The risks...
You just assume.
Yeah, but I would never be allowed to say something like that. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to live, nigga. All right. We're not going to be a commodity.
I saw this thing. I'm going to have to tell you now. I saw this thing where the guy was like, I almost got in this accident, and it was very serious, but this lady helped me, so I'm here now. And then the wife is like, well, who was the lady? She overlooks
That's right.
the massive accident.
You give a fuck about
you
the
almost died. Who was the woman? All right. Okay. Eye for an eye, tooth for... No, wait. Well... Not another maggot of the feed that you're going to eat, motherfucker. You can try artificial suicide. Okay, yeah. So you're saying this is just about listening to the media or whatever's going on out there? Yeah. And that it's going to be the death of us if we do.
And then they keep just pumping these things out. And if you look, he says... You hate the shape when you have to see an unfamiliar face on an all-black screen. Which is a very smart line. An unfamiliar face on an all-black screen. What does that mean?
When it dies, you don't recognize yourself?
I think what it means is you hate yourself. Because if you look at an all-black screen, you can kind of see a reflection of yourself. So what he's saying is you hate the shape when you have to see an unfamiliar face on an all-black screen. Because when you turn off the TV, you basically have to face yourself. When you unplug,
Hey, that's good.
When you unplug from the matrix,
Yeah.
you now have to.
Yeah.
You now have to face yourself. And he says you hate the shape. That could be literally and figuratively, right? People look at themselves in the mirror and hate their shape. That's a smart line.
Yep.
Can you hear me through the white noise, friend? See, if I want to be great, I don't want to be me.
Okay.
See? So it's all these things like convincing you to be something other than yourself. Right? It's like you, I mean, the line's right there. If I want to be great, I don't want to be me. And right above, you don't like, and you're so used to being plugged into this matrix, you don't even know who you are. That's why it says the unfamiliar face. You don't even know who you are anymore because, and that is true, man. Like, boy, I'm about to step in it. I was watching Cenk on an interview with Adam and Sitch. So Adam and Sitch are left wingers, but they are like more on the conservative middle side of the left wing.
Okay.
Okay. And so they were talking about the trans thing, and one of the issues that people are having is that it seems like that there is a sort of psychological, I hate the term pandemic. They use another term as well, but it just sounds so nefarious that I don't want to use the terminology. But basically, like a psychological sort of disease of I'm trans, and we've seen this phenomena, you know. And they brought up two examples. I'm not going to mention the specific place that it happened, but there was a specific town that had a rash of moms in their 40s, and that's some crazy bracket. They started killing themselves, one after the other, and then there are a bunch of other of these studies of like these social contagions where people get these ideas in their minds, and it kind of creates a domino effect within the community if the community is enclosed enough and there's enough ways to circulate information. Well, so you used to be, social contagions used to be parochial or regional, but now you have the internet.
We have the internet. Right.
So now you end up in these extremely small subcultures relative to the actual population of their given state. But because they're all coalesced together in a virtual environment, they now have been able to accomplish. And so the social contagion can spread that way. And because it's not a physical... Now, and so they were talking about that, and Cenk goes, well, yeah, I mean, this is documented. Social contagions are documented. They're not... That's not a myth.
Yeah.
And then the question is, well, is this one? Is this a social contagion type situation?
Namely the trans issues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're looking at the numbers and you compare the numbers from, you know, when we were in school to, you know, and then of course the response has always been, well, there's an explosion in the trans numbers of kids now because now they're finally allowed to do it. But my question has always been, yeah, but you guys are saying that if we don't call these people by alternate pronouns or give them, you know, these radical surgeries or puberty blockers, then they're going to kill themselves. But when I was coming up, where were all... If that theory holds true, then why wasn't there a consistent rash of suicides?
Right.
Why don't we all know of the Tom girl who threw herself off of out of the treehouse?
Yeah.
Because we all ran into tomboys as kids, and presumably, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that is something to explore.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it is something to explore. And so the song is talking about you don't even really have a self-perception anymore because you're so plugged in to this, you know. And again, it's initially our parents used to complain about the media. People are brainwashed by the media, but now people are actually able to radicalize and brainwash themselves, especially since COVID. It's one of the craziest sort of ramifications of COVID was people began to self-radicalize. And to be honest with you guys, what I'm about to tell you guys came from Canada. The specific demographic that was most radicalized during 2020, according to Canada, were trans youth. got radicalized
Wow.
during 2020. And so, like, these are very hot button issues that we have in our culture, but it's one of the things that I think about is the human family has never experienced something like social media before, ever. There's no analogy for
Yeah.
what we're all experiencing with this.
Right.
And then when you add AI and all the rest of it to it, and then you add the fact that the economic environment is such that we're all cut off from each other because if you're not doing something, you're working because the inflation is so crazy. And so, like, it's almost our society, and definitely in 2020, our government pushed us kind of into these virtual spaces. The environment kind of pushes you. I remember when all the lockdown stuff started, I was like anticipating. I was like, well, this is going to go way down. People are not going to get streams. They're not going to get anything. Nobody's able to work. But
That's
those
right.
were the most successful years financially we ever had. And I couldn't understand. And now, of course, it's like, of course. Like, they're stuck at home.
Yeah.
They need a community.
Yeah.
People need a community, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
and so, like, these are hard conversations to talk about. But, and it doesn't mean that anybody's demonized, because if I was a trans person, I could understand why I'd be demonized. Because right after that, it was like
Yeah.
black youth. And then, the typical usual suspect, right wing, whatever. But, like, I can completely see why, and that's why I was telling people, like, listen, man, black people, like, if you run into a situation where a cop is killing a black person, whatever, man, unplug from that shit. Don't look at it, and definitely don't read the comments. That shit'll destroy you. And there's gotta be some sort of... There's going to be an entirely new discipline, doctors and all that, to deal with the psychoses that a lot of us are probably experiencing undiagnosed.
Yeah, right. Because we all experience something all at the same time, so it's going to take some time for that to be able to be, diagnosed. You're right.
Yeah. So, and we're all in this. Like, a lot of us have seen these videos of these Palestinian parents collecting their children in plastic bags.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not sure. Collective trauma. I'm not sure. Like, I had to see that because, like, it keeps me steady in advocating for them. It's like, yo, you're advocating for these people and it costs you this and that, like, and then it's like, yeah, man. But then I look at that video and I'm like, what the fuck? No, I gotta go right back to this shit, So, like, if they can go through it, I need to, it's almost like I have to, like, I owe them that to watch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can hear yeah.
But it's important for me every once in a while to still see it so that I can, because the other thing is, like, we're traumatizing ourselves, and then it's like, yeah, but, like, we're partially responsible for the bomb that blew up this kid in the first place, so looking away, and then, but we have responsibilities to our family and friends here. It's a real, if you're a really deep thinker about this shit, or not even a deep thinker, if you're a feeler about this shit, it becomes very, very difficult to balance out how you're supposed to navigate all this shit.
But remember on the first review or second one, you were talking about fear-motivated stuff, like, and how it's not enough to bring it to California, from Maine to California. Like, do we actually need to traumatize ourselves more, or do we need more love in the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to traumatize myself more, but I do think that there are times when a person would falter in their advocacy for whatever reason. But see, for me, it's like, I know that there were people that had comfortable lives that were advocating for my folks up to the point of death, and even worse, up to the point of killing their own brothers for my folks.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm going to advocate for somebody or group of people, like, you got to do it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Like, these white folks, whether it was John Brown or the dudes in the civil rights movement, they were doing it for the long haul.
They didn't just do it when it was safe. I mean, people paid with their lives, you know? And so, like, anytime I go to advocate for another group of people, if I feel like it's, like, completely, like, skewed and completely unfair, like, I feel like we need to continually advocate for them and bring them up. But there are costs to that. And there are... You get misinterpreted, and obviously the ego is something impossible to overcome, and, you know, yada, 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 yada. People think that they know where your heart is at with things, when you know that my heart is extremely complex about things. So I can say something and mean 19 things simultaneously, but at the same time, I gotta say to myself, none of those kids care about that shit, though, so... You got to keep it cracking. And if you don't know why you need to keep it cracking, if you're going to falter, then here, take a gander at this, you know? But I don't know, you know, exactly how healthy that is. At the same time, I don't know how mentally healthy John Brown was. Dude sounded like a crazy person to me. But at the same time, he kind of said to one of his friends, like, well, the shit I've seen would drive any mortal man crazy.
Yeah.
So he'd always turn around on people, because now you're like, well, then why am I so fine with everything? Wait a second, what's wrong with me? You see what I'm saying? So it's the thing that terrifies me about my own nature is like how adaptable human beings are, man. We can adapt like you would not believe. And so, like, I don't want to adapt. And it's kind of like an evolutionary, you know, selection thing almost, right? Like, nature's red in tooth and claw, and so at some level, like, if you're going to be in those areas where you're going to see a lot of death and a lot of gory death, nature's going to select that the groups of people who are more desensitized to that are going to be more successful, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
You know, I think that whether you look at that as nature or you look at that as God, like, I think that that's an important skill set to have. But one of the things that separates us from animals is that we don't just function on survival principles as Homo sapiens. We also have different principles. And so to be able to, you know, Bernardo Kastrup calls it metaconsciousness, to know that you're thinking or not thinking about something. Like, I know that a comfortable person isn't necessarily thinking about the discomfort. I'm thinking about the thoughts that I have. That's metaconsciousness. And so we have that ability. So even though nature would select that we be desensitized to death so that we can continue to for us to survive, we have higher principles above survival that says, yep, but there's this other layer to human beings and the human experience where we cannot be desensitized to it. For the sake of those people. For the sake of people who will never meet me and I will never meet, we have to not be desensitized for them.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's one of the gifts that God is, one of the gifts and the curses that God has given me is I've seen a lot of shit. I've done a lot of shit, but thankfully I haven't become completely desensitized to it. But at the same time, it's a lonely place, I guess you could say. It's tough. But solid song, man. Solid song. It like I said, man, like, rest in peace to the old Slipknot, dude. I remember, like, being in Virgin Records in New York City in Manhattan and putting on that record and just being, like, blown away. Like, yo, these dudes are, like, really standing for some shit. Like, I'm always gonna love Korn, but, like, these dudes were, like, taking on the world. So shout out to this band, Bad Omens.
This one.
For bringing us back there.
This is a 9.8 for me. I really like this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 9.4. 9.4.
9.4. And I give it a 9.8. Okay, both of us give very high scores.
All right, dear listener.
All right,
we'll
guys,
be back
more
on
to
the other
come.
side of the break. Thank you guys for coming back after that technical difficulty.
Yes.
You know what it is. We got DJ Nick in this bitch. You know it's going to be some ridiculously great songs. We will see you beautiful human beings on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sorry out.